What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we're back to talk more Scream 6, even Scream 7. We'll try to maybe split it. I don't know how perfect it would be, but take any comments and questions you guys got in the chat. It's week 2. Let's see how well it does in the box office as well, right? And if it follows the trend next week, like late next week, right? Wouldn't it be? Or maybe the week after would be when Scream 7 is announced. So hopefully we're only a few weeks away from that. Hopefully this thing can make 100 million, I think, by the end of the weekend. Going into Monday, I think if it can do 100 million, I think we're looking really good. So we'll talk anything you guys want to about Scream 6 in particular, or, ideas and all that stuff for Scream 7. I know we started to do that. These live streams have kind of become like an arc, right? We talked a lot about 6 in the first one. Second one, we talked about 6, and then we started to talk about 7. And here we are now. So welcome in, everybody. Hopefully you're having a good Friday and weekend. Or you're going to have a good weekend, I suppose. I'm just checking. I still have the Scream videos coming out every single day. You guys are doing an incredible job of supporting them, and those videos are doing really good. So I definitely want to thank you. And I have been asked about like rankings. So I'm going to try to do very similar to what I did with 5 last year. Want to make very specific videos on things mainly regarding 6, right? Characters, things like that. And then once it starts to die down, because we are going to have a bit of a break between the end of this stuff and then the start of news and casting and all that stuff for 7, I'll do rankings. So I'll rank all 6 movies. I want to rank the opening, the endings, right? Like the killers. We'll do killer rankings as well. I think it's time I do an updated phone call ranking list as well. I've already done one in the past. So lots of stuff to do over the next coming weeks. Still some stuff about Scream 6 first, and then we'll start talking about some ranking videos. You start teaching. I will. How's everybody doing? Jedi Survivor story trailer on Monday. Seriously? Well, that's what I get for being kicked off of Twitter. I didn't know that. Unless that's just a prediction of yours. Yeah, I should just make a new Twitter. Horror Tori, what's up? Did you notice that Mindy has different personality than in 5? She did seem a little bit different, and I wanted to like last week I watched Scream 3, and I watched 6 twice. I'm thinking of watching 5 very soon, or when 6 maybe comes out on like Blu-ray and stuff, I'll watch 5 and then 6. So, oh no, it's confirmed. Oh, thank God. Well, I'll have something to talk about on Monday then, huh? But yeah, I want to watch them both back. But like I said, I want to watch them back to back, but I also feel like this is maybe because people have said maybe 6 helps 5. I actually, sitting here just dead honest, I feel like 6 may hurt 5. I really feel like if I watch 5 again, having loved 6 as much as I do, I may not like it. Like, I don't know if I can go backwards in regards to specifically Sam and Chad. Mindy would be an interesting one to look at to see how her character has kind of changed from 5 to 6, but I specifically don't want to go back in time when it comes. I mean, Chad just isn't even a character in 5, and then Sam is a very different kind of character, I would argue. So yeah. But I probably will do it. I don't doubt that at all. Will Sam be Ghostface? So what we started talking about last time, I honestly believe they'll make her go dark, and then they'll kind of pull her back. As we've said, once you make her go too far dark, right? If she kills an innocent person, it's game over in that way, right? Because there has to be some sort of consequences to that, like jail or something, right? So if she snaps, I think the worst you could do is like super injure somebody, but not actually kill them. Something like that. Because I think if she were to kill somebody accidentally, yes, I think that would still be an issue. So, yeah. Sam, keep being funny. You think she was the 4th killer for 7. What? I don't know how fun. I mean, she's kind of funny in her own twisted way. So that body in the tub was Paul 2.0. Yeah. And we never got... Paul wasn't Paul. Yeah, Paul was the first boyfriend, right? And we said, who the F is Paul? I love that. I love that scene. And I think you can miss it if you're not listening. We never got a name for that person, though, right? And isn't it crazy? So the people that had said, I want to give credit to where credit's due for those people. The people that said that the person in the bathtub is not Tony Revolori, they were right. It's similar mustache, but that was not the same person. And also, if you guys remember going backwards, it did always seem weird how Mindy like walked into the bathroom that then Jason was in the bath. Like that never really made any sort of sense. So I guess we should have seen it coming, because we could never, if you remember, I remember doing like live streams or videos talking about it. It never really made so much sense that he would end up there, or how he's connected to Mindy, or even like the apartment kind of complex, right? So, I think it'll help. I thought 5 was pretty weak. I always liked 5. I didn't love it, but I sure saw a lot of weaknesses in 5. And I just think because 6 is like so different, and I also think well done, I think going back to 5, yeah, I think I'd still like it. Because I was kind of worried about that with 3. 3 has always been my least favorite. Actually, would be interesting now is watching 5, because I rewatched 3 last week, and I actually really liked it. I think it's a little crazy. I don't think like Gail and Dewey can hold it up as well as like Sydney can. So obviously because of the scheduling conflicts with Nev, you had to do it that way. I think a lot of the side characters in 3 are incredibly non-important. I can't really remember most, right? I can remember some of them. I can't remember most of their names. Also, the kills were extremely lame, and they would die from like one stab or, something stupid. So I think there's a lot of problems with 3. And I think there's a lot of problems with 5, but I actually think they're different kinds of problems. So maybe I will have to rewatch 5 to do that ranking list, because I think 3 may be better than it now. I don't know. Chad is hot. I mean, he is a bulking man. I really hope in Scream 7 Sam is not Ghostface. Yeah, I don't think they would go all the. I think they're hinting that like they could, but I don't think the plan is to literally make her one of the killers. I don't really think that works. Lance Reddick just passed away. If Lance Reddick is who I think he is, no, not him. You serious? Oh my God. Did you guys know the guy from John Wick, not the guy who helps him out a lot in the hotel? He died. He was only 60. How did this man die? Did you guys see that? I don't know who's into Lance Reddick. Wait, isn't he also Hades in Horizon? Isn't he the villain who then becomes... Oh my God, what a disaster. That freaking sucks. Too many younger people are dying. I don't know. Screams 5 still my favorite since the original. Yeah, and I don't, I'm not here to bash Scream 5. I think they're all good. I think they're all good movies. I'll have to watch 5 again. I watched 5 I don't think I watched it right before 6, but I watched it I watched it in January, like early January. So it's been a couple months. Ethan has babyface childlike. That's why I knew he was a killer. Yeah, he definitely always struck me as the killer. I think she'll only go Ghostface on whoever the actual Ghostfaces are. Yeah, I think that's a good analysis. I think that makes sense. Scream 6 is my new favorite. Nice. I seen in one of your videos you did Dewey SSD. I don't know what that means. Should they have saved the Ron mask in Stu House for the last movie, end it where it all began with a cool mask? Yeah, I think there's something to be said about the order that they went, right? I think it makes sense. I don't know if I think starting 5, like 5 being the start of the new trilogy, and 5 being like 1 with Stu's house and stuff. I think actually that made sense. One thing I will say that's incredibly smart about 5 is like it does know what it's doing. Like it tells you what are all the guidelines of a requel, right? Like doing starting a franchise, kicking it back off, and you bring in the legacy cast, but you got to kill one to kind of make it exciting and to give it stakes, but you also have to introduce new blood, and it's going to be similar to the first one, but it's not going to be exactly the same. I think and they tell you that. And even the title is like that on purpose, right? So I think 5 in a meta sense is very, very clever. Probably more clever than 6, I'd honestly argue. So I think it made sense with the stew house, because even with like Sydney being like how redundant, or whatever she says, like how redundant can you get? I really like a lot of that. I think the masks, yeah, you probably could have saved the mask idea because it kind of is like you're combining all of the movies, right? It's the legacy. It really is the legacy of all these films. I think that would actually make more sense as the final thing, but I think in the arc of with Sam and all that stuff, I think it worked. But I do think you probably could have saved the concept till 7. I think the Stew's house made sense. Melissa Barrera wants Salma Hayek to play her mom. Yep, I did see that interview. I don't know if she'll get her wish, to be honest with you, because they have it's a coin flip. They do not have to make her mom important, but if they're going to, obviously 7 is the movie to do it. I really don't think they have to, and I want to say I don't think they will. I don't think they will do that, but I don't know. Is Stu alive? No, I don't think he is. In fact, there's been a couple different things that have come out since the movie came out. Number one, I made a video, I think the day the movie came out, that their answers have still always been, well, could we bring him back? I think this. I think there's always the door to have him come back as part of like a flashback or a hallucination or something like that. I think that's what they're talking about when they say the doors never close, that kind of thing. I think that's what they mean. I think the idea that he can come back and be alive, I think that is not going to happen for a couple of reasons. Number one of Matt or Tyler, I do think flat out said it in maybe like an Entertainment Tonight interview. He flat out said like Stu's dead, guys. So he said that like a week ago. And then also, as I've been saying, and I did see an interviewer ask this question, so I'm very happy about that. I think killing Ethan with the TV, the final blow, was to signal to us as an audience that TV is able to kill someone, right? Like that thing, that's the whole, and even Kirby saying, I saw that in the Scary Movie once, which was an incredible line. But I think that they did that literally on purpose to indicate, although in the movie, Kirby says he's dead. Mindy says basically, if you believe that. So there is the conspiracies going on, but I think the subtle nudge that the TV that killed him literally does kill Ethan. They did that on purpose to signal to us, hey guys, this TV falling on somebody is capable of killing someone. That's why we're doing this. So that's why I think they did that scene. And then somebody asked them that point, exactly what I just said. Somebody asked them, like, was that TV drop a hint that it killed Stu? And they said, yes, it was a hint. I don't think they said, yes, it killed Stu, but I do think they said, yes, it was a hint. So that's something to throw out there. Gail's part in 6 was kind of side story that didn't affect the plot in any real way. Yeah, it was just to get her to show them the shrine, actually. That was the biggest. Yeah, I don't really think they've, like the ending of 5, I think they did a really good job of having Sydney and Gail be like a part of the main thing. But even the Gail Dewey parts in 5 and then the Gail scenes here, they always do feel like if their plan is to like make it where, hey, we're really focusing on this group, and we're focusing on this group so much that when we have the OGs come in, it actually kind of feels weird because it doesn't really, I think it works, but it's not exactly necessary. And maybe that's just like a hint that, yeah, you really don't, I'm not saying like remove Courtney Cox or remove Gail, but I think it's kind of like like an inadvertent truth that it really isn't all that necessary. However, I will say this. Kirby, I think, was very necessary to the story. And I thought she was in it a lot. I thought she was in it way more than Gail. She was more important than Gail. So I think if they write it with the OGs in mind, and they probably wrote Kirby with that in mind, I think it can work, and it can feel organically like necessary. It hasn't really with Gale, but it definitely did with Kirby. So I would absolutely say that. 6 made 5 better for me, but 6 is now my favorite sequel. Gotcha. Yeah, and maybe that works. Like maybe I'll watch 5 and like because ultimately I think if I watch 5 and I like Chad and Sam more, then I think that would help 5. So it's possible that happens. So I figured out the scene with Sam, Chad, Tara, Mindy all get photo from Danny. He airdropped or whatever in the Samsung equivalent is the picture of Quinn's attack. See, I thought they got the photo from Danny, but he airdropped. But was it Danny? Because then how did he get it to Annika? Because he never talked to these people. See, I thought it was Danny because it looked like it was from his perspective of the attack. But, like, if he only sent it, like, did he have... He didn't know any of them, right? He only knew Sam. So did Sam give him the phone numbers of Annika, Mindy, Chad, and Tara? Did she do that, or did he just automatically have them? I don't really get that one. So, I don't know. So who was the celebrity cameo? It was Jack Quaid. Yeah. It was Jack Quaid. Plus, what do you think of the end credit scene? I thought it was what I actually didn't stay to watch. I saw it online. Let's just say I didn't stay to watch it because I knew what it was already. I guess funny. I mean I got myself like really excited that they were like gonna go for it and do. I think the post credit scene only is annoying or upsetting to people, and this is valid. Like I don't blame the people. It's only upsetting or, making people angry if they thought, and they really thought, it was going to be something that maybe like set up 7, right? If you get your expectations and your hope there, and then you get that end credit scene with Mindy, it's like, oh my God, are you serious? But, Ethan is so hot. Unpopular opinion, the Core 4 is just as good as the OG 3. Ooh, man. Well, I think you need to include, I'll be honest, I think you need to include Randy if you want to compare. I know it's not exactly the same, but I think if you want to take this 4 and compare it to what the equivalent were, I think you have to do the OG 3, and then you also have to include Randy. I don't think I would give it to this group, although Sam is incredible in 6. Tara, I really thought was good in 5. Mindy's been pretty good in both. Chad was really good in 6. So, like, where does that average? I guess you have to compare them to the OGs in Scream 1 and 2. The issue is, here's the issue. Scream 1, I think all 3 of them were, and Randy, but Randy was not really in it. Maybe you take Randy and Chad and you put them off to the side, right? Because they were both, I mean, Randy had some iconic moments that Mindy and Chad didn't have in 5. They just weren't in it enough. So then you're really comparing Sam and Tara to Dewey, Gale, and Sydney. And Sydney was so good. Like, Sydney, I think, is the best character in 1. I think she's just so good. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be tough. I think I'd go with the originals, especially if you want to do ghost faces, too, right? Compare Richie and Amber to Billy and Stu. And then compare Mrs. Loomis and Mickey to these 3. It's tough. But I mean, I'm not here to say you can't think it. I know, right? He was such an epic man. Yeah, that really sucks. Silence, not Hades. Silence, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do now with Horizon, considering he was kind of a main part of it, including like going into the 3rd game. But I knew him from Horizon and John Wick. That 60's too young. That is really bad. Podcast Now Plus, it does not have a Twitter. I think if it did have a Twitter, I would have been in the clear. The issue with my Twitter is because I've looked up like the rules and stuff. If I make another Twitter that's got like Podcast Now, let's say in the name, as soon as Twitter identifies it, it's being shut down because it's ban evasion. So I'm considering making an account anyway, just for fun, and seeing how long it lasts. But I really just want my first account back. So if you guys can maybe tweet Twitter support for me. I I was in the middle of watching your Sam is the best character in Scream 6 video when I got the live notification. There you go. Scream content helping Scream content. It's what I strive for on this channel. Sam being the killer would be great, but I don't think they'll do it in 7. Yeah. I think, I mean, it would be very interesting how it would work. I wouldn't, like, doubt it. Like, I wouldn't, like, bet money against it. But, I mean, like I said, if you do it, you're going all in, right? If Sam is a Ghostface killer, first you have to, like, think of, like, her motive, right? Because here's another, like, movie issue. If she's a Ghostface killer, like, who does she go after? Because she can't go after any of the survivors. Unless she completely snaps and Billy, like, tells her in her own head, like, you need to kill all the other survivors. It's like, how do you sell that to somebody? How do you sell that to Sam? Because, like, she won't kill Tara. She won't. There's no way, right? Tara would be the thing to stop her. Would Sam go after Chad or Mindy or Sydney or Kirby? Like, why would she do that? You know, snapping is one way, but again, what does being a Ghostface killer mean? Does she just go out there and kill other people? Does she, like people have mentioned before, maybe she... I think we've talked about this. If she senses somebody could be Ghostface, does she just kill them on the spot? Or, you know, something like that, because that would be kind of like your, you know, your wiring upstairs isn't right, but it would also kind of make sense based off her character. So do you do something like that? I don't know. Quinn Bailey. Hey, you died. I think Sam could snap at the end of 7. Yeah, I guess if it was at the end of 7. I guess if it was at the end, and if you're planning on killing her and not having her in 8, if there even is an 8, then I guess that makes sense. Tara and Chad were adorable. They were. Okay. I've fallen behind as I always do. Oh, remember a couple things. I didn't say this last time. Make sure you guys leave a like. It really helps the live stream go out to more people. You know, when Craven and all them say it, it's because I said I want to take responsibility. It does help the live stream in the moment, and it also helps the video afterwards. I was the first one of that group to have said it. They can steal the line. It's okay. What if Tara was a Ghostface killer too? Tara, I think, again, as I've said, I think you can do something with Tara. I think you can do something with Tara, kind of enjoying the Ethan thing and egging Sam on with the killing Bailey thing. I think you can lean into that. So, I would be not surprised if Scream 7 would be less violent than 6. You wouldn't be surprised if Scream 7 was less violent. Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. Like, I don't really know. The violence was just like the amount of stabbings. Like, I think. Like, what was so violent? This is a serious question. What was so violent about 6? Like, the Gale attack was not all that violent in comparison to what we've seen before. Like, Jason's kill was a little violent, or a lot. Annika's kill, like what they did to Annika before she fell off the ladder, that was kind of violent. And even her falling off the ladder, but that was not that much different than like Amber with her burnt face and then being shot, right? Like, I think you could still do it. I think as long as Sam is kind of nuts, I think you can still make 7 violent. And considering the theme of that this Ghostface is something different is not even a thing in this movie, I don't really think it matters. I think you can keep it going, you know? It's just for marketing, what do you kind of go off of? What's your theme? I think 6 was better because Sydney was not in it. Trying to uphold both the legacy cast and the new cast only weakens both. Yeah, I mean, that's very fair. That's fair. It's fair in the sense that, again, I think it depends on how it's written. I'll go back to Kirby, right? I do agree with that. I think just by having so many characters that you need to like give stuff to, you only have so much time, right? So like in 5, because you had to give them time, and you especially gave Dewey a lot of time in the first half, that's time that doesn't go to Sam and Tara, specifically them. You could argue Chad too, like things like that, or characters like Vince being a complete waste, right? Like stuff like that. And that happens because you have so many survivors. But I will go again to the example in 6 that I think they did Kirby really well. I don't think having Kirby in it hurt the film. I think she kind of organically made her way in. She was in it a pretty meaty amount of time. I think they kind of struggled of what to do with Gale. And that was kind of it, because you had the core four, and then you had Gale and Kirby. And Danny ended up living. You didn't do too much with Danny. But yeah, I think Sydney maybe being in it would have maybe hurt it, because now it's like, well, you have to give her something to do. It's possible. It's possible. That's why I think you had to have killed the core four. That's what I think. One of them. I think that would solve your issue. I don't think Scream 7 not coming back. I think they done. I don't know what that means. I think Stu is alive. I don't think he is dead. No way it's well, they I think they proved with Ethan that's I think their point with Ethan is that's what they were going for. So, one thing I've noticed is Scream never does flashbacks. Yep. The closest thing we ever got was in Scream 3 when Sydney was reminiscing in her room. Yeah, and I love that scene in Scream 3 when you can hear the first movie playing in her head, basically, of Billy and Stu doing a couple lines. I really liked that, and I think you could do it again. But you're right, they've never done like an official flashback thing. You're right. A summer 2024 release for 7. Yeah, I think it'll maybe be like the fall. Oh, wait. Yeah, I think it'll be maybe fall of 2024. Like maybe around Halloween time of 2024. So a year and a half, which is not all that far away. Considering you got to do casting, all these announcements, you got to film it, then you got the lead up to it, which is like a 3-4 month. So in the summer of 24 is when we would start getting stuff. I will take that. They could have a cult of killers. They think Stu is alive, giving them more, but it's really someone else just using them. Yeah, I think that would maybe work. I don't know. That would be very close though to like Stu being alive though, right? So you'd have to be kind of careful. You have to be kind of careful with that. Are you happy they didn't kill Chad? I'm happy and not happy. Like, I think it's kind of ridiculous he lived, but I also loved his character. I think Mason Gooding just seems like a really nice guy in a lot of the interviews I've watched him do. So I will take him in 7. I'll take him in 7. I'll take him and Tara's relationship together. I loved it. So, giving me more of that is not a bad thing at all. And I've said before, I really like Chad's kind of hand-to-hand combat, right? Kind of like his build, I think works really well for this movie. So, he's great. I believe I said he's my second favorite character. So, he's super good. And so I'll definitely take more. So, it's a, back and forth. But I also think he should have died. They just can't do that again in 7, I think, is the issue. How do we do Ghostface in 7? Do we do another powerful, menacing Ghostface that gets stuff done, or go back to clumsy Ghostface that trips and falls a lot? That's a good question. I think it's tough, though, because, I've always seen Ghostface. Maybe this is just a me thing. Like, I know, like, Scary Movie obviously took it and went with it. And, I know there has been some, trips and spills and all that stuff of Ghostface in the past. But, like, I think from at least 4 on, I've always looked at Ghostface as being, like, pretty menacing. Even if, like, that's not the theme. Like, even though none of the other movies have kind of come at it with this is the most menacing and, like, this is a Ghostface that knows what they're doing. Ghostface has always been kind of, like, they kill a lot of people. Like, they still end up getting the job done a lot of the time. You know what I mean? So I think you can make it less menacing and it would still kind of be the same. Like, I don't know. I thought 5s were kind of a little scary as well. I love Chad's character. Imagine Scream 7 taking place in Chicago during the holidays. It could. I don't understand why they didn't have Gail be the reporter they kept watching on TV instead it was a random dude. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen her, on the job. Well, she was on the job technically, right? But Larissa, what's up? I am doing well. Hope you are too. I hope Gail is more in Scream 7. I hope she has more time with Sam. I feel like we can see Sam cares for Gale now a lot. That's a great point. That's a great point. If they did do one thing with Gale in 6, well, number one, it's the first time we ever heard about her, family. We got a little bit of that back and forth between Sam, where we find out a little bit about Sam's mom. A little bit more of this relationship that those two, they look out for. I think that was Gale's line, right? Like, you just find another loner and look out for them. And so, yeah, I think they do have this kind of connection now. Maybe Sydney would have had that originally with her. I don't really know, right? Like, would they have given that to Sydney instead of Gale? But I like that it's Gale. I think that works. So, yeah, I'd like to see that continue for sure for the next one. It's funny that Sam kept Richie's number in her contact. Yeah, she never deleted it. It's been a full year. It's been a full year in between the 5 and 6, and she never deleted it. Airdrops work by proximity, so I think that's the reason. Also says Danny sent you a photo, accept or decline. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Then okay, I believe you. I definitely believe you. Like, the second time I watched it, because the first time I watched it, I think we did a live stream. We talked about, like, did they position the phone? But remember, we also said, well, how would that make sense with Danny? Like, does Danny see Ghostface setting up a phone? Like, how does that work? So it definitely makes a lot more sense that Danny is the one who does it. So, yeah, I would definitely believe that. I think I didn't know what airdrop. I'm too old. Actually, I'm not old. I just don't understand a lot of technology except for, like, YouTube. I question why Quinn and Danny's windows were right across from each other. Yeah, that's a little suspect. Whoa. I think Kirby works because she is part of the ensemble, whereas Gale or Sydney, they have to include as a central character where the story revolves around them. That's true. I think, yeah. I think Kirby, I think I think I get what you're saying, and maybe if I don't, you can explain it more, David. But, like, Kirby works as, like, an additional piece, right? Like, she works as a supporting cast, whereas Gale and Sydney, you kind of have to go all in. You really have to give them, like, a primary reason for being part of the story. Kirby's easier to slot in there than Gale is, or Sydney is. I think that's what you mean, but I'd agree with that. Mindy did say if you believe he's dead, so who knows? Yeah. Well, like I said, I think the idea of them having that back and forth, they never want that discussion to end. They never want the discussion of is Stu dead or alive. They know he's dead, and they are not bringing him back, at least as like an alive person. But they definitely don't want to say that, and they definitely want to keep that going as long as they can. I've been saying that for years. I know people get mad at each other, on the Stu train or not on the Stu train, but ultimately, it's not really the fans' fault. It's more of the filmmaker's fault. So, Ghostface reveal was disappointing and predictable. Yeah, I think how they revealed it was fine. Like, I think the literal reveal of because we've never really seen that before, have we? Where, like, Ghostface was about to stab Bailey, and Kirby's, like, making sure he knows, and then he shoots. Like, I really liked that. I think the reveal itself was really good and kind of creative for what it was. I think it was so predictable, though. Like, I would definitely lean into that. Zoe Crawford, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Scream 6 will take place in Hawaii and will be a meta commentary on shark movies. It was Melissa who said she wanted it to take place somewhere warm, right? So that's funny. How'd you feel about Tara's personality in the film? I like Tara. I think what's actually odd, I'll be, like, flat out honest. What's odd is, like, I thought I'd like her more. I liked her a lot. But I almost feel like even though, like, she does so much more in this movie, I don't know if maybe I liked her more in 5 more than 6. But I liked her. I think what she's going through and this idea that she just wants to live her own life, and, Kirby kind of has to talk to her. I think what they did with her was fantastic and was really good. I don't really know what I was expecting. Like, it wasn't what I expected, if that makes any sense. But I definitely wouldn't say it was bad, like, at all. She was definitely good. I think, if anything, because other characters were also, because like for me, and I've said this before, for me in 5, it was like Tara and then everybody else. Like I don't even know how close the next best person in the movie of 5 was compared to Tara. But in this one, there were a lot of really, like Chad I think was better than her. Sam I thought was better than her. Kirby I thought was phenomenal. If you told me that you liked Kirby more than Tara in this movie, I'd get it. You know what I mean? There were a lot of, Annika even, there were a lot of really great characters. So I feel like the separation between how good Tara was to everybody else, that was not present in this movie. If anything, it was Sam and then everybody else. At least in my... I've seen a lot of people say Sam is the best character, so I don't think I'm alone there. Well, Scream 7 mirrors Scream 3 with the opening kill. Oh, I hope not, because I really... looking back at them, I don't really like 4s either. I think 3 and 4 are the 2 weakest openings, I think I would say. So I would not want them to copy 3's opening, to be honest with you. But you know what? They didn't copy 2's opening. You have to think about that. They didn't copy 2's opening for 6, so would they copy... The only one they did was 5. And they did that on purpose, right? So, sup, Alex? Hello, Michael Joe. What's going on, buddy? I think Danny might be the opening for 7. I've thought that he could as well. I think that's possible. Maybe Scream 7 will take place in London, like a Europe trip. I think one of the only things left to do with Scream is to take it on the road and go to a foreign country. I think I don't know how it would work, but I think you could do it. Wait, why did you get banned? No, I think it was a glitch on Twitter. I think it was a glitch why I got banned, because they're supposed to tell you in an email what rule you broke and what tweet it was, and they never sent it to me. My running theory is that people, because there was like an imposter of me on YouTube for a little bit, and we like mass reported him, and I think the situation was resolved. But there was an impersonator of my account, and then he copied other people's accounts, but he started with mine, thank God. And he wrote some very bad comments, like telling people to go do stuff to themselves and whatnot. And he wrote that on comments on YouTube, and then it started to spread a little bit on Twitter, and I shut that thing down as soon as I saw it. And it was resolved. But I think maybe he did it himself. Maybe somebody reported me that I was the imposter, so I was the one saying these bad things. But there's nothing that links me to it. So it's Twitter. Twitter's garbage in a lot of ways. It's also great in a lot of ways. But I think Twitter, just, the bots and all that stuff, I think that they got a report on me and they shut my account down. And it's still in the appeal, and they just haven't looked at the appeal. So hopefully I get my Twitter back. But I've looked it up, like, ban evasion. If I make another account that tries to mimic what my first account was, so Podcast Now, even if I make a second or third channel version of Podcast Now on Twitter, I'm still evading the ban, so they could shut that account down. So I don't want to grow a second Twitter account, get a couple thousand followers, and then they shut it down. It's like I already did that once. So in case you guys didn't know, I know this is like the Scream community, but I do have a Scream part of this. You'll hear in a second. We do have a Discord server. If you guys are on Discord or you know about Discord, I have a Discord server. We talk about games and movies and stuff there. There's actually separate categories for each, but there's a Scream specific section where you can talk Scream. You can also talk about spoilers for Scream. So the link's in the description. If you guys just click the link, it'll take you there. So Discord is my replacement of Twitter for now, and we'll see what happens. But like I said, just simply liking the video, subscribing to the different channels. I have 3 YouTube channels. If you guys want to subscribe to those, anything helps, or everything helps. Anything helps, everything helps. There was a version of Chad's attack where he was stabbed 4 times. Do you think they should have gone with that take? The one in the movie was mild compared to the first take. I didn't know that. There was a version of Chad's attack where he was stabbed 4 times. Yeah, I would like that. Where did that come from? I'd love to see that. I'd like to literally look at that scene. I would definitely have taken that. Yeah, it was just not believable that he could be stabbed. However, it was probably 20 times, like maybe 10 from each killer. He was probably stabbed like 20 times. He shouldn't have lived. So yeah. I'm not trying to sound racist, but I think it might take place in Puerto Rico to go down Sam and Tara's culture more. Could. Do you think Sydney will come back in the last movie? I think Nev. I don't know if I'd bet money on it. I would predict Nev comes back for 7. A tropical setting would be great for a Scream movie. Wouldn't Ghostface get too hot because the all black except for the mask, all black. So they just need to bring back Sydney and Stu. I think they bring back Sydney, but today sucks, man. Lance Reddick died. I saw that, Carson. Mr. Happa mentioned did it earlier in the stream. That freaking sucks. On the good side, we got a Star Wars trailer for Jedi Survivor on Monday, and then on the bad side of things, we got honestly a legend for movies and games, and he died. So that does freaking suck. Scream 7 can be the last movie. I think it'll be the last one for a little bit. I think it could keep going. So, kind of wish there was a flashback scene of how Kirby survived. Well, to be honest with you, considering what, and this is where I'm kind of afraid of the franchise going, to be honest with you. Like, Kirby surviving now is the most, like, it makes more sense than ever before, right? Like, here's the thing. Seeing Chad survive both movies back to back, even Mindy surviving this one, right? Like, you see those, and then you think back to how Kirby died, and you're like, oh, of course she lived. Because it's like characters now, Tara got stabbed very similarly by Ethan to how Kirby got stabbed. And Tara was completely fine. Like, completely fine. Also, I keep mentioning Scream 3. One of the weaknesses, I think, with Scream 3 are the kills. I think they're pretty bad. They're like 1 or 2 stabs, and that's kind of it. It was probably because of the time period and what had just happened, right, with the school event, let's say. But, like, wasn't there a character in that movie that maybe got, like, stabbed in the shoulder and that, like, almost killed them? Tara gets stabbed in the shoulder after kissing Chad, and again, she's completely good. Sam gets sliced and then stabbed in the shoulder, and she's more than good. She's able to deliver, like, 32 stabs to Bailey with that arm. It's the same arm, actually, that got stabbed. So, I'm just a little afraid of, like, knife wounds not mattering anymore, when I think a lot of the stabbings in this one would have killed somebody in Scream 1, 2, 3. I think it would have been enough to kill somebody back then. Now, it's just like a flesh wound. Like, who cares? Like, just shake it off. Like, I'll just, brush it off and be fine. So, I get it. It's been like 20 plus years. Times have changed. Things are more like visceral now. I get that. I do. And I think that's kind of like the evolution of it. But it is a little ridiculous. But I don't watch too many other movies like this besides Scream, so maybe I'm more picky, or maybe I'm less picky. I don't know. Kind of wish. Oh, I read that. Do you think Nev will come back? Yes, the movie did so good at the box office. I think we need a new Scream movie every year for years to come. I think we at least get one more, and then I don't think they're going to take too long of a break, to be honest with you. So yeah. Hey, Alex, how do you feel about them scaling up or down the ghost faces based on the killers revealed in the end? Yeah. Well, for Matthew, welcome again. Thanks for being here, buddy. What's interesting now, right, is anybody, because like we asked for 3 killers, did we not? We asked for 3 killers, and they not only gave us 3 killers at the end, but they actually gave us 1 more in the beginning of the movie. Again, I don't really count Greg. I only count Jason. So they really gave us 4 killers, but they gave us 3 on 2, like 3 killers versus Sam and Tara, which was incredible. And I think they, again, like when Sam and Tara go back to back and Ethan waves it like this and then Quinn holds it out, I freaking love that scene. So, like, they nailed it. But the thing is now, okay, well, is there any expectations for 7? Do we expect 1 killer? I don't think you can go from, we'll eliminate Jason for the sake of it, that there were 3 of them at the ending. Can they really go from 3 to 1? Can they really do that? That would be kind of nuts. So I think they actually go down to 2, to be honest with you. I think they go down to 2. Let's see. Recovering from a headshot. If Tara were Ghostface, that Ghostface needs to be the size of a Chucky doll. Tara is teeny tiny. Yeah. I don't think Tara can be. Tara can't be Ghostface. For that reason, probably alone. Gilbert Ortega, thanks so much for the super chat. If you had to pick 2 of the core 4 to die and 7, who are you picking? Well, I feel like they've missed what's the phrase? They can't do Chad. I think the ship has sailed. The ship has sailed with Chad. So I think you kind of have to do Mindy at this point. So I'd say Mindy and then probably Sam. Because I think killing Sam would just be so wild. But yet again, I mean, killing Tara would also be extremely wild as well. So, what the heck is all that? So yeah, I think I would do. Oh man, gut answer would be Mindy and Sam, but I could take I would take Tara. Like if you argue Tara, I wouldn't mind. But thank you for the super chat. Again, I'm trying to read as many of these as possible. If you do a super chat, obviously it helps the channel, helps me as an individual, and I'll read your thing immediately. But if you don't want to give the money, again, just leaving a like, that's a free thing to do. You could just do that. Let's see. I think people were really expecting Olivia-style kills for every kill in 6. Kills/attacks were still brutal, though. Yeah. But that's the thing, like the most brutal Ghostface, was there actually any kill in 6 that was as bad as excessive as Olivia? Because I don't think, not to say like Olivia's is the best kill of the whole franchise, but was there any that were better than her? I don't really know. Or not better, did I say better? More visceral. When did Detective Bailey change his last name? Since his last name is Kirsch, same thing goes for Ethan. Why not keep the Bailey name but Landry? So the Landry thing, I think, was just to make him not related because I guess they knew what they were going to do with Sam. The bigger question that you're getting at, Ryan, I did see other people, we've talked about in the past live streams. How does a cop get? I don't think he got transferred. I think he moved. I think that's what Quinn said, right? He moved to New York. So how does a cop transfer themselves to a new place and change their last name? I would imagine that's very difficult to do. So that's the biggest error, I think, in maybe all of 6 is how did Bailey change his last name? Like, that's just the question. How did Bailey change his last name? We need Stu to come back. We got a good amount of Stu fans here, which I'm not opposed to. As I've just always been very honest, I just don't think it's going to happen. But I'm not opposed to the idea at all. It's not a Scream movie without Nev, but 6 was crazy. I think they're starting to prove it can be, but I mean, again, we've kind of gone back and forth. I want Sydney in these movies, every one of them. So I am disappointed Sydney was not in 6, and I would be disappointed she's not in 7. I think you can do it without her. I think an argument could be made that the more survivors you have in the movie, the less you can give to them because you're worried about spreading it out. I think you can make that argument, but I still want her in it. And I think they will have her in it as long as she wants to be in it as well. So, Ryan, I was wondering the same thing unless Kirsch was his wife's maiden name and they were divorced. Could have been divorced. Yeah, that's maybe the answer. What are your overall thoughts on Liana as Quinn? I thought she did great. I don't know if I've ever seen Liana in anything. I haven't seen... Like Jack Champion, I know he was in Avatar 2. I actually didn't see Avatar 2. I don't think I've seen anything with Dermot Mulroney in it. A lot of these people, even Devin Nakota, Annika, I never saw. What was she in? Degrassi? Like, I've never seen a lot of the stuff a lot of these people, or I don't watch a lot of, I've said it before, I'm more into gaming. So I never knew, like, what the talent level was for a lot of these people. I think Liana did fantastic. And I think she was probably the best of the 3 killers when they go nuts, like when they reveal themselves. I think I liked her maybe the most. And I really, even if taking that debate out, I really liked her in just as Quinn, as the normal sex-positive girl. I really liked her. So I think she was fantastic. Yeah. Um, Everybody bashing Dermot Mulroney's acting. I thought he was great. I liked him too. I actually am on that side as well. I don't think he was bad. I love Stu, but I don't want him to just be revealed in the end as a killer. We wouldn't get to see him until then unless they reveal him early, which would then be obvious he'd be like, that's true. It's actually a tough... That's true. If people really thought that through, if Stu is back, let's follow that, then you have to hide him the entire movie. The only idea you'd have that it was Stu would maybe be the calls, where Roger would have to kind of like act like Stu a little bit, right? Like that would have to be the only way of doing it. And then when you do get Stu revealed, you're only getting the monologue part to his death. Like that's the only part you'd be getting. Or like you just said, Matthew, you'd have to reveal him early, and then you'd be like, oh, okay, well there goes all the tension because you know it's him, right? Scream 8 doesn't need to happen. Well, you could argue Scream 5 didn't need. I get it. No, I definitely get it. There were people that said 5 was too many. Why do you need a 6? Like, people that say they wanted the franchise to end with 3 or 4. Like, I totally respect that. But you could have argued that a while ago. That you know what I mean? It's a little tough. It's a little bit tough. Oh, Gilbert, thanks again, buddy. I really appreciate it. I think Gale should have died in this movie. He never got me. Would have been chilling last words. Yeah. Well, let me ask you, Gilbert. You don't have to do a super chat for your answer. But I think we talked about this. We talked about this last time. So if she died after saying he never got me, how would you look at that? Would you look at that as that's like one final Gale moment where she wants her legacy going forward? Like she wants Sam to tell Sydney, say she died, she still would want Sam to tell Sydney he never got me. Like, I bested him. And that feels like a very Gale thing to do. Do you think that works if she dies? Because if she dies, he never got me. Well, yeah, he kind of did. You know what I mean? He kind of did kill you. But like, it feels like a very Gale thing where it's like, maybe she'd want to lie about it. I think it made more sense in context. It made more sense for her to live after saying it, right? You hear her say it, and then you think she's dead, and then she's alive. And it's like, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Like, she's telling Sam, call Sydney and tell him Gale was attacked, but Gale got him good, and or he just didn't get her. Like, I think that makes more sense. Personally. Okay, I'm going to try to run through these as quickly as possible. Scream 100s needs to happen. TV falling in your head wasn't what killed Stu, rather the electricity right on spot. So Ethan, hint, poorly done. Fair. I won't actually really argue with that. That's a fair point. Hello. How do you say your name? Bladamil? Hello. Chad should have died. No one important died in this one. Or Mindy should die. Yeah, I agree. I think Chad. I think it made a lot of sense for Chad to die. I think Quinn was the strongest performance as a revealed killer. Hated her death was so quick. Yeah, I think I'd 100% agree with that. We're all on the same page here. I actually very much agree with that as well, Matthew. I think 7 will come out in May. This movie came out 2 months after 5, a year later. 7 comes out 2 months after. Yeah, May. Yeah, I could see it. I mean, I think 7. Can we say this? I think at the earliest, 7 would be like a Memorial Day kind of thing next year, like a late May. At the latest, I think like December, like around Scream 1 and 2. I think that's the latest. So I think you got a good half a year swing of when 7. I get so confused because we're talking about so many numbers here. I think that like half year swing makes sense at any time in that. If it comes out in August, I would get it. Although August tends to be when movies that don't do well come out. October for Halloween obviously makes a lot of sense, right? So, and wasn't 5 supposed to come out in December and then it was pushed to January? So you could, that could not be a hint, but that's something you could look at, let's say. Okay, I'm still taking way too long. Gave the fake out deaths in Scream 5 a pass, but now it's clear the brother and sis duo are the new Dewey. Yeah, Dan, I agree with that. Alex, so you think they should kill off Mindy or Kirby? I I think you probably could kill Kirby off now, and people wouldn't be too upset. I love Kirby so much, so I think killing her would be very not frustrating. It would be very saddening, I guess, or upsetting. I definitely think one of Mindy or Chad needs to die. I mean, if you want to keep Sam and Tara both, but at the end of 7, at the end, like we've said it before, but let's say it again for any new people, right? You got 8 survivors, right? You got the core 4, you got Danny now, and then you got Kirby, Gale, Sydney. So although Sydney wasn't in it, you still have to count her. So you have, what did I just say? You have 8 survivors. You cannot leave Scream 7 with those 8. You cannot. It's got to be, 6 would be the most, right? Because I think you would kill, like if you really were afraid to kill people, you'd kill Danny and you'd kill one of the twins. I think that's like the safest you could go, knowing that you want to keep them all alive, but knowing you're in a slasher movie and it doesn't make sense for 8 of them to survive. I think you kill 2. To be really going for it, to really like test the waters, I think you kill 3 or maybe even 4. You know what I mean? So I think the safest you can go, you still kill 2 of those 8, and you're not going to kill Sydney, right? So actually, even saying that out loud, Sydney doesn't really count. So you have 7, and you need to pick like 2 of them, I think, to be safe. And if you want to go for it, maybe you pick 3. I think going for it would probably mean more than 3, but they are afraid to kill people. So, and they've said that. They haven't said they're afraid. They're unwilling to. They're unwilling to kill people. They're core. So, with all that being said, I don't want Danny to die, really is the thing, right? Like, I would, if you ended 7 with Sam and Danny together and Tara and Chad, it'd be very similar to 3. With Sydney and Mark and Dewey and Gale. It'd actually be exactly the same, close enough. So if you did that, you already have 4 of them. You have to keep Sydney, so there's 5. So do you then kill Gale, Kirby? Wait, is that right? 5. Gale, Kirby, Tara, and Mindy. Am I missing one? Because I just said 5. Oh, no, it would be 4. You have 4 people because of the 2 couples, and you'd have 4 left over, right? Which would be Gale, Sydney, Kirby. Why can't I do it? What is there actually more than 8? And I'm getting very oh no, Tara already counts. Gale, Kirby, Mindy, Sydney, and you don't kill Sydney, so you'd only have Gale, Kirby, and Mindy. And are you really gonna kill 2? Are you gonna kill 2 people out of the group of Mindy, Gale, and Kirby? Because then, you have to kill one of those OGs. Even if you kill Mindy, you still have to kill one of the others. So that'd be very tough. Boy, there's so many numbers and characters in my head. It's very hard to keep them all. I also have a slight cold, if you can't tell from my more nasally voice. How many villain leader members Ghostface have left? I don't know. As many as they need. Yeah, we needed an emotional death in this movie. I really enjoyed Chad this round, so I wouldn't have voted him living. Yeah. I think it's time for the core 4 to get butchered in 7. Oh, no, Riley. Like I said, I think a couple of them, but not all of them. I'm on Team Sam now. I don't want to see her go, to be honest with you. Jeremy, what's up, buddy? What's up, Alex? They should definitely stay in New York for this one. But this Sam Richie story is over. 7 needs to be you know who. Oh, man. Another Stu train. An idea I have not heard. Cold open with... Oh, firstly, thank you, Adam. Really, truly thank you. An idea I have not heard. Cold open with 2 locations. Kincaid is attacked to draw in Sydney, and Danny's attacked in New York City to put Sam on edge. May water down movie with too many characters. To start the movie with 2 location attacks, I think would be bold, different, like all those kind of buzzwords. I like it. You'd have to establish what the theme is, before you go into the movie, you'd have the plot, a loose plot, a theme. So if the idea is you have to get them all together to then do something, I think, attacking them in different locations if they're all split up. I think Danny as an opening makes a lot of sense. it doesn't like fully remind me of Cotton, but like I think there's enough there. And then how do you get Sydney in? I don't want the first time you see Mark back though is to him being killed. So it'd kind of be tough. But I definitely like that idea, Adam. And thank you again, buddy, for the super chat. Okay, I'm gonna try to catch up again. Not every Scream movie needs an emotional death. Scream 3 and 4 didn't have that. We're still recovering from Dewey's death. That's fair. But like I said, I think an issue with 3 is an issue with 3 is the deaths just in general, at least for me. 4, I think they did enough because, like, in the moment, they really, like, I think went for it with Sydney, especially, like, what they wanted to do with Sydney, where it's like you really wouldn't know if she lived or died. I think that was pretty close to, like, killing the main character. So I think they did pretty well there. But I see what you mean. Seeing one stab gave Dewey a permanent limp. Do you think Chad's 20 stabs will finally result in some sort of injury to Chad? My bet is no. Yeah, I mean, okay, I'll be very honest. Yeah, if I were to bet on it, I would say no, it will not give him a disability. I think it should, but I don't think they would. So I'd agree with you, Riley. I wish Gail would have written a book about Dewey. Yeah. Actually kind of glad Sid wasn't in 6, especially if they were just going to tack her on like in 5. Yeah, and you can that's definitely an argument to be made. This would have been the perfect film to have Stu come back as Ghostface cult leader, so a little disappointed in that aspect, but the movie was good. Yeah. Like I said, it's just where you set your expectations. I never thought, Stu was going to come back, so I wasn't disappointed in that, but I get it. Again, you guys, if you're new to the channel, one of my motto is that I don't really care what other people say, and that probably comes across very harsh, but ultimately it's a good thing because, like, I respect other people's opinions, right? If you have an opinion that's not mine, you're welcome here. I'm not one to throw you to the side, which a lot of other, not Scream YouTubers necessarily, but a lot of YouTubers, it's their way or they're not into it. As long as you respect what I'm saying, I'll respect what you're saying. And because we're not going to always agree. I make hundreds of videos a month. There's no way we're going to agree on everything, right? So let's not pretend like we do. Let's see. When the ghost reveal happened, I low-key wished it was Kirby because these villains were not it. Yeah, it would have been something else if it was Kirby, to be honest with you. Let's see. It's time we address the now Scream trope of final scenes involving chilling by an ambulance. Yeah, the ending of Scream movies where they're being patched up is definitely like, it's like Resident Evil, like spraying yourself with a medicine to heal you. It's kind of like that a little bit. Tara and Sydney crossing over with the MTV Scream and even Keke Palmer against Stu and his followers in an Endgame style movie would make dumb stupid bank. I think it'd be wild. I don't think it'd be guaranteed to work or even make a lot of money, but I think it'd be a wild premise, like for sure. Let's see. I think Tara will go to therapy in 7. I don't think you need to show her in therapy, but I think she will be in therapy. Yeah. I think Gail was wasted here. She regressed in her arc, and am I the only one envisioning a slaughterhouse of a chase scene at her studio during a live taping or something? Missed opportunity. Yeah, the attacking her when she was doing like her morning show thing obviously was like a fan theory, right? I think it would have worked really well. I like her. I really liked her sequence in the apartment, like from the beginning. May I ask who's calling? He said it's the killer, and then Gail just like closes it, and it's like, let me handle this. Says 10 people have tried this, or 9 people, whatever it was. Or you're like the 10th person to try this. All her lines there were great. Ghostface like mocking her for the Dewey thing, I thought was fantastic. I'm not gonna take anything away from it because I think it was so good. The what could have beens if they did it somewhere else, I think you can bring up for sure. But I think it was an excellent, emotional, tense, multi kind of sequence, right? There's multiple parts of this chase or of this attack. So I really liked that. I really like the music that plays at the end while Sam looks at the mask. Is that Demi Lovato song, right? Still Alive? I loved. I mean, people had said it in one of the earlier live streams about the music. Whoever said it, again, you can think whatever you want. I really liked not just the music, but the sound. I liked the sound of this movie a lot. There's a lot of really good noises just in the background, whether it's the screams or the stabs or the songs or like when, and I've said this before, when Sam comes and she says, well, it's Roger L. Jackson, right? But probably the one who's still alive. The music that's playing behind her, behind the scene, is so chillingly good. It's phenomenal. It's one of the best things in the movie or in Scream. So I remember seeing somebody say, I'd like to know who that was, actually. Again, you can think whatever you want, but I loved the music. I really, I think In My Head by Mike Shinoda and Kaylee Morg, is that her last name? I really like that song. It's very basic. It's a very basic song, but I really do like it. Still Alive, right? Yeah. I like that song too. So I think the licensed music is pretty darn good. But I think their own music is also extremely good. And the noises, like again, the screams, the stabbing noises, in the train when you hear like people laughing, like there's like that kind of like clown laugh. It's weird. It's like creepy but cool. I really like it. Really like it. So just want to throw that in there. Gamer Freak, what's up, buddy? Congrats on 72K. Thank you. I think we maybe hit that yesterday. I honestly owe you guys, I think the Scream community over the last week, honestly, since 6 came out. I'm not in 2022. No, honestly, over the last week, ever since 6 came out, we've gotten a lot of subscribers. I've done terrible. The channel had a very bad couple weeks before then, but we've gotten a lot of Scream people kind of coming into the channel over the last week, and you guys pushed it to 72K, so thank you. On to 73, on to 75. I really want to get 75 as quickly as we can to do some sort of event or something. Why isn't Kevin Williamson involved with 5, 6, 7 scripts, or is he? I think he's an executive producer, right? So they kind of run it by him, but he doesn't write it. I think he's just kind of done with it. I think he's kind of made that known, right? Apparently there has been news that Jennifer Jolie survived Scream 3. Yeah, I have seen that. I honestly don't really like her character. Is that controversial? I don't know. She's so campy. I don't love it. And I definitely don't think it jives with current Scream, like, at all. I have seen it. I think it's possible. I definitely think it's possible. But I don't know if I'd like it. I'm here for a Sydney TV series after 7, and I'm available for hire. That'd be cool. I don't know if Nev would do it, but I think that'd be awesome. Sam, Chad, and Tara is the next Sydney, Gale, and Dewey. Yeah. Well, what's tough about it is, like, I don't really think there is another Gale. Like, I think Gale is Gale, and there is no new gen replacement. I think, as I've said before, I think Sam and Tara make up halves of Sydney. So they're both Sydney combined, but not separate. And then Chad is Dewey. That's what and obviously Mindy is Randy. So Sarah Darling just got stabbed in the back. I don't know what happened to Jennifer Jolie. I just want a really good story. Yeah. 6 would have been a perfect movie if they went with Alex and Craven's vigilante Bailey motive. He was pissed at the Corp for, brought the Ghostface plague with him to New York City. Well, firstly, thank you, Julie. I would have liked that. I mean, that Craven and I think came up with that kind of like it was either a live stream or a video we had done together. But like live in that video, we had kind of come up with that motive together, and I really liked it. I really liked it. So I think the motive would have been better if they did that, but also would have been a little weird. Like, you know, you had to have gone for it either way, for sure. And I think they definitely went for it. I feel like Sam could end up in jail for her Scream 6 butchering. At some point, it's no longer self-defense and would be interesting. That's true. I'd like to see them, honestly, Riley, because they've already established, like, it doesn't fully have consequences, but like what they do in the past movie does kind of follow them, right? So like Sam going nuts on Richie, like that did follow her because the conspiracy. Now Quinn started the conspiracies. I think that's their out, right? That's their out. That you could say these things do follow you. So like, was there a reason to stab Bailey 32 times and then stab his eye? No. And I think that could haunt you or follow you like in the news and stuff going into 7. But the only reason it did from 5 to 6 is because the killer's motive was to do that. So if the killer's motive is not to do it, I could see the movie dropping it and saying it doesn't really matter. But I think the killings matter to the characters. I will give that to even these newer films. I'll give it to them because even if you want the universe of Scream to not really care that, like, yeah, Sam went nuts a couple times, it stays with Sam. Sam as a character still feels that, as evidenced by her Dr. Stone therapy session, right? It stays with her as a character. I think Tara stabbing Ethan through the mouth, that will stay with her going into 7. Whether the news cares that, oh, this girl, this 19-year-old girl stabbed this kid through the mouth, you'd imagine that would follow you, but even if the movies wanted to drop it, I think Tara still knows. I think Sam still knows. And that ultimately is what matters most. I think that's the most important thing, you know? A John Wick skilled lone wolf Ghostface would be enough. It would. It would. They've never been up to John Wick's his skill level. You know, if they got a John Wick style Ghostface, it'd be over for the survivors. I'm sorry. Who would be the killer of Scream 7? All of Richie's are dead. Sam, it has to be someone that makes sense in the world of Scream. Yeah, I think it'll be a new person. I think it may be a new person that's connected to. I mean, if you wanted to go back to the movie idea, right, like Richie's movie, whoever, again, like if you wanted to do the mastermind thing, somebody orchestrated that Richie and Amber would meet up. So they kind of set things in motion like Roman set Billy in motion, right? Maybe somebody set Richie into motion. And I think they could do that, which would be a new character, I think. I think only Mindy and Kirby will die in 7. It's possible. It's possible, yeah. If Mindy dies, I'll be heartbroken. Agreed. They should add Chad and Mindy's mother into the mix. Yeah, I'd like to see her come back. Do you think they plan to keep the core 4 plus Gail Kirby alive from the jump? No, the way they talk about it makes it sound like, yeah, going into the movie, they knew nobody would die. That's the sense I got. So, Alex, you're the GOAT. Thanks for making the content. I really like your videos. Thank you, The Rock. I appreciate it, buddy. If the detective has a wife, then where is she? Is she alive, dead? Could she be? Yeah, I mean, I think they could, but I don't, like, in the same sense that, like, Billy's dad never really became much, Richie's mom will never really become much, right? Does that make sense? So, and why didn't Gail or Kirby recognize him as Richie's dad? Yeah. And who was Quinn performing for when she was quietly talking to her dad on the phone before she was killed? And why did Ethan help Mindy? So, okay, why didn't anybody... The recognizing the Richie's dad thing just has to be like an oversight, either on the writing, or you just have to believe these characters, like Richie never mentioned them, there was no pictures, nobody really knew who the dad was. You just have to kind of imagine that happened. I'm not saying you have to be like okay with it, or you have to say that's a good thing. You could lean into it negatively, but I think you just have to believe that happened. Yeah, why Quinn was on the phone quietly with the dad, in retrospect, it doesn't really make sense, because again, nobody would have known that except for us, the audience. So yeah, there was no reason to have done that. And then why Ethan helped Mindy? Yeah, I have no idea. In fact, I just recorded the video. It'll be live probably on Sunday. I'll talk about that Mindy sequence. How about an opening scene with 2 survivors being killed off in the first 10 or 15 minutes? Yeah. Again, Danny makes a lot of sense, but man, killing another survivor in the first 15 minutes would be pretty rough, right? It'd be kind of nuts. Seems like they were going to keep the... Yeah, so I'm going to guess Scream 7 is going to mirror Scream 3, so Solo, Ghostface, and Mastermind. As I've said, I don't think it has to mimic it in numbers, because 6 didn't. 6 didn't mimic it in numbers. 6 mimicked it in motive. So I think the theme that there is a mastermind, that probably sticks. So I think that will be present in 7, but I don't think it has to be 1. I think you can change the number. So how much time do you think it should be between 6 and 7 in universe? Well, it's actually tough because if you do only 1 year, then they'd still be in college. So you either have to have them drop, all of them. You'd have to have them drop out of college, or you'd have to have it be 3 more years, even though it'd only be like 1.5 in real time. So you'd have to choose, basically, right? That's a good question, though. I'm glad Gail survived because to kill her off in a movie where Sydney isn't even a part of. That's true. I actually didn't think about that. Like, I thought about that going in, but when she was dying and I didn't know if she died or lived, I actually wasn't thinking about it, I'll be honest. But it is a good point that you'd like to see like Sydney's reaction to it if it were to happen. And if you don't, then why even do it? If there was an opportunity for another horror franchise to cross over with the world of Scream, what franchise would it be? Well, again, like I don't really watch any. I think like Nightmare on Elm Street would kind of be as a Wes Craven would be kind of fun. So yeah. Are we supposed to believe Quinn took out Gail's muscle boy toy too? So many sloppy plot points. Matt and Tyler actually admitted they did that on purpose because of the fans that don't like the weight differences and stuff. They said out loud in an interview they did that on purpose. So not saying again it's okay, but they're like leaning into the criticism is basically what they're doing. How did Danny know Mindy was stabbed? Great question, because it doesn't make sense. That's a great question, Andrea. I think Chad should have died, but I didn't want him to because I wanted to be the next Dewey. Yeah. You know what happened to Dewey, though. But no, I agree with that. I'm mad that there wasn't a surviving Ghostface to carry over to Scream 7. Yeah. I don't know if I'd say, like, wasted opportunity because, like, I'm okay with all 3 of them, like, ending at 6. But that is a thing we've talked about as, like, to make it different, spice it up a bit. But they did do a lot of other stuff, we said. Like, to make 6 different, the things we were throwing out there of, like, killer in the beginning. Killer reveals himself in the beginning. Killer gets killed by the real killer. Like, we had said that going into 6. And guess what? They did it. 3 killers. We said that. They did it. They actually did quite a bit of what we had suggested. So, they didn't do all of it. There's room for improvement. But they actually, credit where credit's due. Whether you think it's sloppy or not, that's fine. But they did do a lot of what we wanted them to do. The themes. They did a lot of it. They made it so that we all love the 4, and so now they can't kill any of them. I guess Danny and Gail get it in 7. Yeah, no, that's very valid. Like, that's very possible. Yeah. Where do you think Quinn was hiding after her fake-out death, especially where Ethan and the detective were at the shrine? Was Quinn in the theater somewhere hiding? I assume, like, her home base was just at, like, Bailey's house. Like, just wherever he lived. I think he was just there. But, yeah, probably, like, around. She was probably, like, always around them, for sure. I wish Quinn was the Ghostface to get away. I think it would have made the most sense for it to have been her. People are saying Ethan didn't die. He better have died. he definitely seemed like he died to me. Chad should have died, honestly, because if I don't see him in a wheelchair in the next one, I don't know how to take this franchise seriously anymore. I think, I do think they have to give him some sort of, like, physical disability now. If they want to do a limp, like, you can literally steal from Dewey. Just do that again. I think he needs to be weakened because how can you... Like, your organs are torn up. And, like, I don't even know. Like, he gets stabbed so much in, like, the stomach and the rib, like, area. Like, you had to have hit something when you did that. Like, and that has to cause, like, problems down the line. There's no way you survive. Well, there's no way you survive it, but there's no way you make it out, like, 100% clean, right? I'm sure you can survive it. I'm sure if you put it to the test, which I'm absolutely saying not to do, but I'm sure, and people have said this even in the chat, I'm sure people in real life have been stabbed, like, more times and they've lived. Now, have they lived, like, perfect lives of 100% health? Probably not, So I think it's somewhat believable, but also you got to make sure It has consequences in the next one. So, kill Gale, Chad, or Mindy, and then Sam or Tara. Yeah, I think you could throw in Kirby with the Gale, Chad, Mindy. I think you can kill one of those 4, and then you kill one of Sam and Tara. I think Danny is a candidate too. I think it's really just Sydney. You can't kill Sydney. So I really think if Sydney comes back, Gale might die. That's possible. That's possible. I hope they don't have any conflicts for scheduling such a big cast of hopefully returning characters. True. And that's a great horror B23. That's a great point. And I get how it works and stuff, the industry and whatnot, but I've always been pretty vocal on what sucks about specifically, I guess, movies, because like games, they take so long and you can have people do voice work and all this stuff. It's easier for games. For movies, what sucks is I always want to get the original experience that they wanted to give. So like if you write a script and it's like approved and all this stuff and it's like super ambitious or whatever, I want to see that, right? If it doesn't end up happening exactly like that because you can't get somebody on set, to me that's annoying. Now I'm not going to like think about it too hard, but it's factually annoying to me because it's like, well, you had them or you had the idea, but we didn't see it just because the scheduling conflict. So again, even with like this movie, I would have been interested to see like what does this movie look like with Sydney? Because the original idea was to have Sydney in this movie. So what's the motive? What's the order of deaths? How does Sydney help the survivors? I want to see that version. But obviously because of the situation, you can't. But yeah, the scheduling conflict, like I'd say even Scream 3, right? Like how does Scream 3 change? Well, number one, they had to change it because of the Columbine stuff, but like Nev was shooting Party of whatever, right? So she couldn't be on set. She was only on set for like 3 weeks, right? So what does Scream 3 look like if Nev was available as much as they wanted her to be? What changes? Things have to have changed, right? They would have changed. So say for 7, Jenna can't be in it too much. So, but that's not the original vision of 7. And that sucks because like I want the most pure version of what you're creating. I want that. I don't want that and then you have to like mess with it because Jenna is so popular that she's only going to be on set for like 3 weeks. You know what I mean? And I think that could happen because there are so many of them. Now, a lot of them don't do that. Like, to be honest, a lot of them aren't that popular. They're not. Like Melissa Barrera does all indie things. She doesn't really do anything big. Mason and Jasmine. Jasmine does what? Yellow Jackets, but that's kind of it, right? So like Courtney Cox does that TV show, but a lot of them don't really do much. So I would say most of them would be very easy. I think what you do, honestly, is you schedule the whole thing around Jenna Ortega. You find that 2-month window that she's free between filming her 6 other things, and you film it then. And then you just get everybody else to make that work. But I think you start with Jenna, and then you go out, because I don't think you have to worry about everybody else's filming. Maybe Nev, because Nev is actually, she's in stuff. So... But yet again, she'd maybe be there for like 2 weeks, right? Like how long do you need Nev or Courtney Cox? They don't need to be there all that long. So that was long. I'm once again behind. Danny's gone. Next movie, I'm calling it. Yeah, I wouldn't bet against you. I wouldn't bet against it. I think Mindy will die. Yeah, I think Mindy and Danny are pretty safe, relatively safe guesses at least. Let's see. I'm trying to skip just so I can get as many of these as I can. I keep Tara, but the rest ain't paying their rent. I love Sam in 6, though, to be honest with you. So I would keep Sam. They should kill Mindy early in Scream 7, then Gale partway, and then Tara at the end. That's bold. That's bold. And give her death because Sam to snap, and instead of a glimpse of Ghostface before the credits, have Sam putting the Ghostface mask on. Wouldn't that signal a Scream 8, though? That would be nuts. That'd be nuts. Yeah, I say make Sam sacrifice her life for Tara. I think that happening is actually kind of likely. How about something different for the opening of 7? A failed Ghostface killing on Sam, not like 5. Sam just outright kills Ghostface. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. It'd be similar to 1 and 5, It'd have a little bit of vibes of 6 because you'd be killing the killer, but it'd be Sam. I like that. I like that. Just a random attack on Sam, that Sam just obliterates this person, and it gets the movie started, and now she's in it, and they have to bring everybody together, and Sam can literally just destroy somebody. Or I actually really like that idea, Gerald. Good idea. Rather keep Sid out. 6, Sam and Gail mentioned Sid deserves her happy ending. That's true. The way they talk about Sydney in 6 definitely seems like she's gone for good. But then you hear them talk about Nev, in real life, and like the door is always open for her and all that stuff. So like in the movie, I think it works where she doesn't ever have to come back. But I think she easily can. I want Scream 7 opening scene to be Sydney and Mark and their kids. Yeah. It seems pretty obvious their plan for 7 is to have Billy's knife have magical powers that could transfer to Tara from Sam passing her the knife. Evil Tara, here we come. I mean, I think they're going a little bit into, not like, I always call it a trance. I think they're going into a trance. You gotta brush your teeth in the dentist. So no. I think they're going like the more, they're going hallucination, but I think they're going in a trance, and I don't think they're doing possession. The trailer was deceiving. I'm something different. I love that line too. There's never been one like me, Gail. I'm something different. That's such a great line. Even split up, it's such a great line. Why that wasn't in the movie, I don't know. Which movie had the best Act 3? Ooh, boy. I love all of them. To be flat out, I mean, that's such a cliche. One's is so iconic, and I also think, like, how it's done is just really well. And I think it's aged extremely well. 2's, I think, is very over the top, but also, honestly, incredible. I love 3. I love Roman versus Sydney. I love Ghostface talking to her, takes off the mask and it's Roman, and, takes some effing responsibility. I love that. 4 with Jill, love it. I mean, I keep saying love because I genuinely love all of them. I even really like 5. I think 5's ending is extremely well done too. 5 may be the weakest because it's just copying 1, and I don't know, am I going to give the other one? Or 4 is kind of copying 1 as well, though. 4 is kind of copying 1. So I think 4 and 5 have to kind of be put. And here's the thing, like 6 is weak from like the reveal perspective because you see it coming. The motive is the same as 2. But I like how it's set up. Like, again, Kirby and Bailey, gun to gun, the back-to-back thing with Sam and Tara. Chad being stabbed is also kind of part of that third act, so I'd like to include it there. Sam going nuts on all of them. Specifically when Sam charges Bailey and they fall. From that point to when Bailey dies, or Ethan dies, maybe we can say, it's so good. It's so good. Sam calling Bailey and, Roger's voice and that whole thing, how it shot, the atmosphere, the music in the back, or just the sound effects, whatever, in the background, the lines of going back and forth on the phone, they're so good. I like that scene maybe more than most of the other endings. But I think as a whole, 6 probably would be on the weaker end as well. I think 1's got to be the best ending, though. That's a great question, though. I'm going to do a ranking video on that, by the way. I'll do, like I said earlier in the live stream, I want to do specific videos on, 6 and even 7. Once it kind of dies down, the Scream content, I'll do rankings. I'll rank the killers. I'll rank the movies. I'll rank the beginning and end. I'll rank the motives, stuff like that. So a lot of ranking videos probably in like April or May. And I'll definitely do an ending ranked. But I think 1's got to be my favorite. And it's tough to actually put 1 as my least favorite. Because I never really thought too strongly of 2, but then I watched it again like a couple months ago, and I really did like it. So it's kind of just what I'm like in the mood for. In the subway scene, you can see the Brandon James mask to show as canon. Yeah, I saw. I wasn't able to spot it. I never spotted it, but they did confirm it's in there. So I'll have to keep watching it, or maybe somebody has a picture. I like to see Sam start to lose control and try to kill Sydney for revenge for her killing Billy. That's an angle you could play with. That's an angle you could play with, where maybe Billy's upset about it, gets in Sam's head. I could see it happening. I really want flashbacks of Dewey in 7. Yeah, how you make David Arquette work in it, I think you can. I think you could. I want to see Mrs. Carpenter and Tara's dad in 7. Yep. Soundtrack here goes hard, but the sound design in the bodega subway / the subway scene was chef's kiss. Yeah, Venom Maze, I'm right with you. I 100% agree. Emma Duval can meet Sam and Tara. That crossover would be epic. Yeah, Emma as a character I think is great. I really like the MTV series. Not season 3. I think season 3 is atrociously bad. But I like Emma a lot. Willa Fitzgerald I think does really good. Did I like the blood bath? Like the bathtub that Quinn's boyfriend was in? Yeah. It was different than what I thought, because I thought it was going to be Jason, so for sure. Did the daughter being alive catch you off guard? A little bit. I'm dead serious. A little bit. Quinn being alive, a little. But once she wasn't killed on screen, I kind of knew she was in on it. So not exactly. You know what I mean? You don't like Jennifer Dang. No, I mean, like, I don't know. She's so different. She's so different in Scream 3. I think it matches, like, again, I think it matches the vibe of 3, but I don't know if that works now. I really don't. But again, bringing back Kirby was one thing because we never saw her die. Bringing back Jennifer is ridiculous because she was clearly dead, but she was only stabbed like 2 times or something, right? Sam's dad that left could be the killer if they want to go the Scream 3 route with a relative to the final. For sure, Connor. That's, yeah. If it's a relative and you're kind of adding on to the past, her dad makes, well, technically it'd be Tara's biological dad, Sam's stepdad. It'd be that. Yes, there's some issues with the plot, but the third act was insane. So much better on second watch, too. I agree with that. Jennifer Jolie's twin sister is hired to play Gail in a limited series based on Gail Weathers' book about Scream 5. She is not campy like her sister and quite suspicious. Is she out for revenge? They're not going to make Sam or Tara the killer. It's very clear they want a happy ending for them. It's been about sisterhood so far. Yeah, that's a good point. Cosmic urgency. That is a good point. Alex, do you think Sydney badass hunting down Ghostface Scream 7? No, I don't think Sydney would like be on like a hunt. It'd be more like 5. How that would work. I can already see a scene in 7 where Tara is looking at all of Chad's scars. Yeah, I think they have to do that. She wasn't performing. She was concerned about Sam getting paranoid. I don't know who we're talking about there. Whatever happened to the Scream TV show that they were making last year? Well, that was a rumor. I think that rumor turned out to be false. Do you think Ethan is really dead? Yes, I do think Ethan's dead. Honestly. Danny is still super sus to me. I like his character, but he's so mysterious. He does a really good job, Josh. But I'm not suspicious of him. I can see Danny becoming a cop, Chad becoming a cop or FBI. Yeah, I think going down like the police force route is always something you can do, I think, with survivors, right? Because it just makes sense that you'd want to help other people, stop these things from happening to others. I think it always works well that you can do that. She wasn't, she wasn't performing. She was telling Bailey that Sam was getting suspicious of her and Ethan. Is that Quinn you're talking about when she's on the phone? I'll have to listen to that phone call again. Scream 6 has 3 killers like the leaked Scream 2 draft, as well as the double Ghostface stabbing victim from that draft. That's fair. That's fair. You could, like, okay, I'll give you that. If you want to say they took from Scream 2's, like, the leak. So was there, like, I think things changed in 3, though, right? Like, was Mark supposed to die, or was Mark Ghostface? There were definitely changes to 3 as well. So maybe they go down that route or road too. Yeah, I kind of never considered what the Scream 2. I remember the talk of the Scream 2, the leak draft. What makes me angry about the last two Screams is that they try to sell the idea that the killers are different this time. In the end, they're not. Yeah, I think that's an incredibly fair point, honestly. Quinn was more believable than Amber. I think Quinn and Amber are very much similar, to be honest with you. I think I like Amber as a crazy person more than Quinn as a crazy person, but I like Quinn as Quinn more than Amber, because Amber as Amber was so dull, and she's in it for like 5 minutes. I guess Quinn is not in it a lot either, but I think Quinn does more with the time she had before she died than Amber did. So, yeah. Do you think we could have Scream head towards more supernatural elements that's already there with the whole killers need to be shot in the head or they always come back? I think they've always kind of dabbled, Apollo. I think they've always kind of dabbled in it, to be honest with you. I think we're kind of right there. But I don't think they step over the line. I really don't think they get into possession and that kind of like stuff that more of the supernatural movies would do. I really don't think they would do it. I hope 7 is less plot armor. Agreed. I think Sam's father will come back in the picture for 7, similar to Roman in 3. They spent too much time on Sam's Christmas story in 5. Yeah, I think they've set the stage to bring the dad back if they wanted to, for sure. I'm so late. I'm sorry. It's okay. I am about to head off, though, in the next probably 5 or so minutes. Just letting you guys know. I love these. I mean, these do good numbers. You guys support them. So maybe we'll do another one. I want to keep doing these Scream live streams until people don't watch them anymore. So maybe next week we can do at least one more. For sure. And then, like I said, I'll still be around and stuff for videos. There'll be videos a lot. Did you know, I said this before, but I don't know if I ever told you, gang. I've actually made more Scream videos than any other topic on this channel. I've made more Scream videos than Hogwarts Legacy, than Gotham Knights or DC games. Maybe like news videos or rumor videos for games I've made more. But for one specific topic, I've made, I think, 330 or so, 336 Scream videos over the last 4 years on this channel, which is nuts. So when people tell me I'm like this channel or that channel, I'm actually probably more of a Scream channel than anything, even though I'm not. I'm probably more gaming. I don't think Kevin is really mentoring these films at all. Both have too many mistakes. He probably just reads the script once, if at all, maybe even just outline and says, great. I actually think he does that as well, to be honest with you. I think he reads it, surface level, and he says, I like it. I like it. It's good. I honestly think that's what he does. How do you say your name? Chino? Thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. I honestly think Danny was a hidden fourth killer, and he'll be the main killer in 7. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, and I guess they did that with Kieran, right? Kieran in Scream, the TV show, he did that, where he was the killer in one of them. He stood around and kind of let things happen, and then they just continued. The issue I had with that, but it was also because it's a TV show, is it's so obvious that it's him in season 2, because he always was sketchy in the first season. He's still sketchy in the second season, and now there's only one killer now. So, like, he has to be around every time, and they just put Kieran in so many positions in season 2 that you knew it was him. So I don't think they'd have that issue entirely if they did the same thing with Danny, but you'd have to be careful, right? Because if people are already suspecting him in 6, and then in 7 he's still weird, you're going to know it's him faster than you normally would. Does that make sense? So it's a good thought for sure. And again, thank you for the super chat. Okay. Any of y'all want to stab me 15 times to see if Chad dies? Hypothetically. Yeah, hypothetically. In all caps. There was never someone like me, Gal. Yeah, I think it would have made... I think that line was super cool. Or it would have been cool. I'd only be okay with Gail dying if she sacrificed herself to save Sydney, Mark, or their kids. I'd even maybe take Sam at this point if she sacrificed herself to save Sam, because they're clearly linked. Chad got stabbed more than Dewey just in 5 and 6 and lived. No, that's true. The cut lines was best left out because of the possible negativity of the ending. I could understand maybe they took the lines out because they realized they're not really anything different than what we've had before. Maybe that's why they took it out, to be honest with you. Chad got that unbreakable plot armor. He does. Do we know what the original plan for Sid was in 6? No, but they did confirm there was an interview. I don't know if you guys know this. Let me know your quick thoughts on this. I'll get off in just a few minutes. They did confirm this. The motive did change. The motive of this movie, when Nev dropped out, they wrote it with Sydney in mind. When Sydney wasn't in the movie, they had to change the motive. So my big question, and I may make a video on this, my big question is, what was the original motive? What would you have done? Having Sydney be in this, what does that change about is it still the, I think it's this, I think it's still the same killers, because they didn't say that. They just said the motive changed. So I think it would still be the same 3 killers, but what's the motive now? So that, very interesting. The killers were originally vigilante killers that believe that Sam... The killers were originally vigilante killers that believed the Sam mastermind conspiracy. Do we know that? So the original motive, if that's true, was just that they legitimately believed Sam did the stuff in 5 and they just wanted to kill Sam. That's close enough to the theme of this movie and the ending and the motive that they actually gave that I would believe that. Cosmic urgency. I don't know if that's 100% true, but I would definitely buy that. According to the interviews that Radio Silence said, the killers were changed. Really? I never saw that. What interview? I know there was the interview where they said the motive was changed, but I never saw them say anything about the killers. I can see Jenna having a limited shooting schedule for the next one, like Nev in 3. Yeah, same. But they always wanted a simple motive. Kind of explains the third act. They were making up stuff on the spot. Yeah. If they were confident Nev would definitely come back for 7, then they would have killed Gale. Maybe. Okay, I want to skip just to see what you guys think of what I was just talking about. Maybe the mastermind is Tara's dad. Possible. Are you still doing the trailer versus movie video? Yeah, I think I still will. I'm pushing it for ones that I think would do better, but I am still probably going to do the differences thing. I like that idea for a video. Scream 5 has really grown on me. I love Scream 6, but the reveal with Dermot. I still think the Jason twist is one of the best of the franchise. I agree. The voice changer in 3 was OP. I don't hate it. Like, the first couple times watching it, I really didn't like the voice changer in 3. I don't mind it now. I definitely don't mind it. I don't think it's good, but I don't think it like drastically kills the movie or anything. When do you think we'll get an official announcement for 7? Probably in like 2 weeks, to be honest. And maybe we'll do a live stream when that happens. I think very soon, like by the end of March, we'll get it. Okay. Let me just skip to the end here. Do you think Danny was supposed to live in 6? I think so. Honestly, I really like Kieran as a killer in 2, most smart and brutal killer. I think he was smart, and I think he had to be one of the most smart. I think he had to be one of the smarter killers of all of Scream because he was alone and he was already a suspect from season 1. So I would agree with that. I just think like it was kind of getting more and more clear it was him. So Radio Silence confirmed the motive in Real Bland interview. Conspiracy nuts killers. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to write that down then. So maybe I can do a video on it. Real Bland interview. Yeah, I saw that they said the motive was changed, but I didn't see what the motive was that they changed. So originally, conspiracy nut killers. Is that why the line... Maybe they kept some of it, right? Because Sam does have the line where she says, I didn't kill those people, right? I didn't do it. And he's, of course I knew that. Of course we knew that. What do you think? This were conspiracy? Like, I think, didn't Bailey say that? Like, what do you think? This is all because of the conspiracy? Something along those lines. So maybe they kind of kept that in for that reason, that was the original idea. I'm glad they changed it then, to be honest with you, because I don't like that idea. that it was because that's now you're taking a couple stabs at in real life people that are conspiracy theorists, and they're like taking it too far and murdering people. I don't love that, especially when sometimes conspiracy theories turn out to be true. I definitely don't love that. So I'm glad that changed it. Radio Silence said in an interview with Josh Horowitz that Josh Segura's Ghostface audition was very good, so his capability is there. He did a Ghostface audition? Oh my God. When's the next time you'll be live? Sometime next week. I don't think it'll be next Friday, but it will be. I will go live next week. In 2 weeks, I'm actually going to do a special Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League stream, which is a game. But I'm still going to do Scream streams. Don't you guys worry. As I said, as long as you guys keep showing up to these and watching them, I'll do them as long as we'll do it into April. I don't care. As long as you guys want to watch them, I'll do them. Honestly, I might have heard wrong when they said there were different killers, but I for sure know they just wanted a simple motive. Okay. Speaking of Lance Reddick, I really like the TV show Fringe. Yeah. I really want a killer obsessed with true crime. We were getting there in 6. What's your favorite chase scene in Scream 1 through 6? I like Sydney's chase scene through the house in the stab set of 3. I really like that one. I like her going on the roof in 4. I like Gale's in 2. I think that's one of the best. I'd say maybe those would be top 3. Yeah, I think those would be kind of top 3. Maybe like the original with Sydney and Stu. Hold on, let me just do this. All right. Last couple I'm going to read, and then I'm going to head off. In an interview, they said Josh, Jack, Devin, and Liana did Amber's monologue for an audition. Holy cow, really? And they thought Jack's was that good? I would have liked to see Devin's Amber monologue. I think Liana probably crushed it. Josh probably crushed it too. Danny just coincidentally appeared in places at random times sketchy. Yeah, I think that was on purpose. Yes, the whole movie was leading up to the vigilante killers, but then they changed it at the end to the family. Ah, yes. Danny was just another Derek, but he survived. All of the cast read Amber's monologue for casting. Nice. I didn't know that. And do you guys know the interview? Is that the same one, that Real Bland interview? Is that where they say it? That they all had to read that? I did see Dermot was the only cast member who knew he was Ghostface right when he was casted. Yeah, I saw him talk about in an interview where he wanted to know, I think maybe, going in, and his agent had told him they want you to be a killer. But he thought he could have maybe been playing the therapist. He didn't know necessarily he was going to be playing the cop, but he did know he'd be the killer. I did see that. Wow, that's interesting, guys. They said in a Josh Horowitz. Oh, okay. I'll write that down too. Josh Horowitz. Man, you guys watch a lot of interviews, huh? Is that all you do? I'm not saying that's a negative thing at all, because you're all the diehards. I think we know the movies more than sometimes the creative team. But, you guys watch a lot of interviews, and then you also watch some of the Scream videos that we creators make. That's funny. All right, guys, I'm going to head off. I got to get going. Really appreciate it. As always, you guys always do an incredible job of supporting these streams with likes, super chats, just viewers. So thank you. Honestly, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Daily Scream videos are still coming. I got one for tomorrow. I got one for Sunday, all of next week. And we'll probably do another Scream live stream next week. I'll watch some of these interviews, see if I can do other videos. And like I said, as long as you guys watch these, I'll keep making them until I don't. And but I'm not going to go away. Just so you know, I'm not going away from Scream. I'll still be covering Scream forever, really. And we'll wait for the 7 announcement. We'll go through 7, all that stuff. All right. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all on